Luiz and Nero out of the potential 3 games. If they continue, it will be tomorrow, I believe, around the same time as now. Meanwhile, we're also off, so this is great. Just to make sure that you guys know, the second match and potentially third match, if required, will be played tomorrow. I believe at around the same time as now, except 1 hour later. Should be about the thing. So yeah, like, oh no, actually the same time. So 8 p.m. EDT would be the time. So basically, in 23 and a half hours. Good. Anyway, now you guys know when you have to get back here. It's time to talk about how good these runners are. They're actually both pretty good. They're quite okay at these games. That's why they got all the way to the finals. As you can see, they're quite efficient mashers. They get through these beasts pretty quickly. They also kind of know how these games work. And today they're gonna have to do a little first test to see who's gonna make it. I do believe historically we've seen these two face off in a couple tournaments already in the Mega Man X community. And if I am not mistaken, someone slap me if I'm wrong, I do believe Luiz has always gotten out on top so far out of Nero. A very nice quote to remember from their history, however, it would be Nero's long time offline screen where she had an unfortunate accident in the next one tournament, and someone actually claimed that the air Hado alone would flip it, in which Nero died to a Hadoken to Eagle after Eagle made his tornado attack and blew him all the platforms. It was a really awkward situation where he kind of like died without being able to do anything about it. Yeah, they're kind of okay for being in the finals, you know. They're like just above average. All the rest is just average. With that, we're getting out of the intro like a slight second or 2, 3 ahead of Luiz, but you know it's a little bit early to call anything. A little bit early. There's still a lot of RNG and death and despair to come potentially in these runs that can make things really exciting. I'm actually not quite sure how these two deal with potential stress for being in the finals. Nero taking a little bong there. Nothing too bad, but not really a place where you want to get hit already. Actually, a lot of runners in X1 do not really want to take mistakes before you get to the Dash Boots capsule. Which, for a slight reminder, because I know it's been kind of quiet in this tournament to get up to this point, is why we are here. Because we need the Dash Boots. And oh boy, Nero having a little bit of rust on his gameplay there, looks like. Having a little bit of issue climbing up to the Dash Boots. That is rather unfortunate, but when one of those bats gets in your way, it can really kind of glue to your face. And it gets really annoying. It's like one of the things where you won't really get stuck in an infinite loop, but if you try too hard to go through it without getting that thing out of your way, it's gonna keep you there for a while. And Luiz actually taking a little lead there with Nero's few mini accidents. 409 door. That's pretty dang fast. Actually means that we have a 10-second gap between these two already, so let's see what Penguin has to say about that, if we get to see the legendary Quadra slide or something. Luiz actually doesn't need slides to mess him up, he's just gonna... Oh, Luiz, calm down, my boy! Whoa! Calm down, what is he doing? Okay, Luiz got it. Alright, I actually got... I rarely get scared watching Luis play any of these Mega Man games, but whew, that scared me a little bit over there. That's for sure. Whew. Jose, I'm not really sure. I think the bronze match has been played, but I'm actually not sure, to be honest. Nero seemed to be a little bit slow on the stage like there. I think I saw him go over Chameleon. He must have made an error somewhere. Perhaps having been still in this tournament for such a long time kind of took a toll on the runners having to wait so long. Luis still having his lead for now though. He did actually build quite a lead over the Penguin stage, so we probably would have had to die to Penguin for him to lose that. Yeah, sorry Justin, I actually don't know. I've been completely so busy with work IRL that, yeah, I don't even know if that match was played. Actually, wait. Actually I don't think it's been played because I don't see a score on the tournament page, so probably not. I take back my words and I'm gonna change it to probably not. But if our runners in the outside climb actually quite an annoying part of the clanger stage. As you can see here with Nero just missing that platform, it can really keep you stuck for a little while. Oh, as you can see, like a small mistake can easily throw you down and then keep you stuck as you're not on a good loop of things, and ugh. So I think we're still about 10 seconds apart, a little bit more actually between the two of them, like 12 seconds. And they'll both go and initiate the Wanger dance. And well, at the 50% mark, Luis gets broken out of it. And same for Nero. Yes, Wanger is just not feeling it today. Yes, that could be. I don't always get to check out everyone's streams because time zones and everything. But yeah, if you start playing another game, it can definitely put some rust into what you're doing. And I guess if you prepare for a tournament and then you need to wait like, I don't know how long it took us to schedule these matches, but it was pretty long. You might kind of lose some interest to keep up the practice and keep going. Oh well. That we see Luis in the Chameleon stage, followed closely by Nero. We're gonna see any rocks hit. Oh, there we go. There's one rock hit. And that's about it. Oh. Nero took one too, I see. Oh, and another one. No bird dupes today. There is a little kind of glitch thing where if you do some specific movement and shooting, you can actually duplicate one of the birds right outside that cave. And Luis at full HP getting into Chameleon. Not that the full HP is very important for a Chameleon, I think. Despite the fact that we haven't played for a little while, I think everyone remembers that this specific boss is about as resident sleeper as they come, so... Oh. Juked him there for a second. Chameleon actually always, like, jumps the other side, but away from where you are. If you would hit him on the right and then dash to the right, and he's... No, wait. If you get on the wrong side of him, he's actually gonna go to the same corner as he came from, I believe. But, yeah. Excuse my tired, mush brain right now for failing to explain something properly. And with that, we're gonna go to the last of our first 4 stages. The first 4 stages in X1 and 8% will always be in the same order, and Louise misses a little jump there. Trying to go for Lag City strat. Catches narrow up a bit of time. And every couple seconds count. And then about stages again, like the second 4 stages you can kind of put in any order you want as long as you do, wait, what are we still doing? Dello, Octo, and no, Mandrill, Dello, Octo, and then you can weave Mammoth in anywhere you want, depending on your personal preference. Having the Fire Wave can come in handy for Octopus, but you don't have to have it, so it kind of depends what you want to go for. We'll see if the 2 runners deviate from each other's path or not. Louise getting a couple dives, nothing too bad, and Nero gets a couple eggs. No dives. That's great. Meaning they will get a little bit closer to each other. About 10 seconds away from each other right now. So Nero caught up a couple seconds. And both of them will be going to Mandrill. So kind of guessed they would take the same route, but as I said, you can fit in Mammoth anywhere, so yeah, we'll see what they do with that. Louise having good placement on his weapons there. Oh, takes a couple of hits here. Really showing off he's a little bit rusty, but if he feels uncomfortable about anything, he kind of has 24 hours to get in shape, but he's 2 HP, and Thunder Slimer is actually a potentially really nasty boss to fight. It's hard to do this guy damageless if he gives you bad RNG, and well, as I was saying, if he gives you crappy RNG, it's really hard to do him damageless. So with that, and that's right before the midway point as well, so that's gonna hurt. Well, sucks to be near right now. I'm not gonna be happy with that one. And that does mean that Louise is actually gonna be close to a full stage ahead. Losing your life right before midway point is so bad. Especially since you already did a decent fight with Thunder Slimer at that point. And Louise just kind of like walked through, dashed through the stage quite happily. I guess we'll have to take a little the leaving timers here. And 30 for 2 minutes, I believe, but definitely gonna be a little at this point. And Louise actually opting to go to Burning New Mander or Flame Mammoth right after. Going into some Mandrill fight right now. Getting a lot of punches here. Punch is actually fairly dangerous with Mandrill, since if he goes too fast, he dashes at you, you can miss your eye shot because you hit him too early. Let's see, yeah, we do have about 55 seconds between the 2 runners right now. So it's safe to say that Nero's death costed him about 45 seconds. Huh? Excuse, sorry, is my microphone cutting out? Excuse me, normally my microphone should be fine, but I might actually be connected to a server distant from me as far as Discord goes. I have had some issues in the past, so I apologize if that's being a problem. Alright. Alright, so Nero actually finishing up Mammoth, and Luis already on his merry way to Dillo stage for the amusement park. Just getting on his way to the right here. And there we get on this little riding cart. Now we can just like take a little break, relax your hands, take a breather, run away from a giant machine trying to splat you in one hit, and then get on another cart. Seems just like your casual amusement park to me. Enjoy your ride, run away from something big and angry like your mom trying to get you to go home, and then hop on the next ride. Realistic explanation. Couple rolls for Luis here, but nothing too bad. Still having one little final roll, although it doesn't really matter. As soon as he lost his armor, you can always shoot him on repeat. Except it might be a little bit harder to aim at him, I guess. No, sorry, my name is Steven Left. And there we'll go on to launch Octopus, which will be the final Maverick for Luis in X1. After that, he can swap over to X2. He does have to leave 30 seconds, even though they're both console players. You do have to, by official rules, leave 30 seconds in your game swap, just to make sure there is no advantage for people who run on emulator or anything like that. Also, I mean, if someone's console has like some issues or whatever, you know, you need to blow your cart. You have 30 seconds to get it all fixed and then set up your buttons and whatnot. Although it would be rather silly losing a lot of time in a race to that. Luis going in with charge shot. And actually, good to note, both players did not pick up any safeties to make sure they were going to be okay, both confident in their skills, which is to be expected from two people who are in the finals after all. Luis kind of paying attention here and grabs the wrong weapon. Using Flame to get out of Octo easier and finishes X1 at 19:11. It's a pretty solid time here. Ideally, these runners probably want to look for an 18.5x and 18.4x probably for these races, but you know. And with that, Nero's going into his final fight as well, as soon as Luis is starting on the X2 intro. Pay respects to Green Biker Dude. Goodbye. Bye. Nice knowing you. Worth to mention here, you see that the runners kind of get hit quite a lot by Octopus. It is important to note that they will always try to get hit by the missiles or whatnot, because a body bonk from Octopus is really painful compared to the missiles, so you really want to minimize damage by bonking those instead. And I kind of looked at the timers. We have a little less than a minute between the two runners. Nero setting up his rolls here. And I've never asked Nero personally, but I am assuming here that we're going into his favorite game of the X series. Just a hunch by his name. But I might not be too far from the truth. Also, RIP Green Biker Dude ×2. Meanwhile, Luis has finished off the big robot CFO, and we'll now be moving on to Angry Pickle, whose name I keep forgetting when I haven't played over Phoenix 2 for a while. Well, Phoenix 2. Wiral, Hadamorl, or Sponge. Right, Sponge. I actually took this long to come up with it. Great commentator. Doesn't even know the name of the Mavericks. So I see Luis here is skipping his first heart. I do know that a lot of people in X2 tend to pick up a couple hearts because the best strats for a few of the Mavericks in this game do require you to take some damage, and it could get dangerous if you don't pick up extra HP. So it's, well, cool to see Luis doesn't care for your safeties. But then again, Luis has always been the kind of player that goes, well, all or nothing, I guess. It's a little bong there before the door. And Nero, meanwhile, has finished the intro, and we'll be going. Following up on Luis, and also skips this very easy to pick up safety card. Sponge is going to spin. Well, very likely actually. You need good RNG to have him not spin, but in this tournament race setting, you can't really afford to force his RNG, but Luis gets good RNG. Need some luck for that, but that can definitely save you a nice bit of time if Nero doesn't get it. However, if Nero gets bad RNG now, that's kind of adding insult to injury as he's already behind. And then Sponge like saying, "Ha! Only gonna make it worse, buddy." And we probably get the classic Nero going, "I'm not your buddy." Pow. It is. So far this looks pretty good. Sponge. Nope. Well, I guess we add insult to injury then. And Nero will have to go and sit through Angry Sponge. While Luis is picking up this Buster capsule for X2. In X1 we do not pick it up because it's not very important. However, in X2 the weapons offer you a ton of bonus mobility. You have the charged flame burner and the charged strike chain. You will already see the strike chain getting used quite frequently in this stage. The flame burner follows later on after Stag. And you will really see that they use these items a lot to help them progress faster through the stages, or even kill certain enemies, or bosses. Oh, fair there for Louise. This movement, so takes a little bonus hit. And Nero, meanwhile, is arriving in this visitor capsule. And let's see if Louise can actually get through this fight clean. I do know for a fact that Louise is a big fan of MMX games, but he's not a big fan of X2, so we'll have to see if he gets through this. Knowing this guy, he's probably been practicing this for weeks. Yeah, gets through it, no problem. Shutter design. Oh yeah, because you have like a kind of tribal face in there. I've actually noticed that a lot before too. It's pretty cool. It's really cool. It adds some attention to detail. It really makes the entry to the fight look a lot scarier as well. Because you see these really mean face and the teeth on the bottom. I'm gonna have to take a little look where we are going next, because I'm not an expert on X2. We are going to flame stack third, of course. Actually gonna hop through some volcanoes and dodge some lava if we're fast enough. But somehow I don't doubt that both of these runners will be fast enough. Excuse the tiny interrupt there. But I needed the drink in order to keep talking. So after Louise, Nero is also getting a little bit of bonus explanation about his adventures, and he will as well be moving on to the next stage, going on to Flame Stag. Now, Nero entering the fight, stage as Louise is already entering the fight. Honestly, the gap is quite large between the two. We kind of need to see anything go wrong on Louise's end, really, to see this gap close, because no matter how good Nero plays, Louise is really gonna have to have a little hiccup somewhere at some point to see the gap close. Aha, I'm not an expert. No, I'm not an X2-pert. That actually sounds really stupid, but that's okay, that suits me just fine. But I like your wordplay. So Louise got your stack just fine. Stack has some really cool attacks. I am especially a fan of that suplex attack where he just like smashes you a little uppercut and just knocks you through the entire room, slams you down to the ground. I forget who it was that took a really epic death like that. I think it was Sopa, not really sure anymore. It's been a while. Being on the last hit of Stag, and then unfortunately taking it to the face. But Nero gets through just fine. That's 3 HP left, so that's calculated. Louise, meanwhile, killing off some junky robots with tiny parasites in them. It's kind of like an Alien movie, looks like. I wonder if that was actually a sort of homage to it. Although I'm not really sure which came out first, these games or those movies. Now Louise killing another robot. Well, there's a thing attached to his head. We call it a helm. I was talking about the parasites, you guys. looks like a little bit of a hiccup left and right. As he enters this stage and feels a little bit clunky moving in there. Alien was first. Well, I kind of assumed so. Kind of thinking that could be some kind of a tribute to it. Also, thank you for a checking out the lead for me, so I don't have to do it right now. Oh boy, Nero. Having to shake the little parasite off his head before he can actually go off the ladder. It's kind of sad. That little guy just wants a friend. It was like, no, let me go, I gotta go fast. The poor little thing probably doesn't understand. Oh well. Meanwhile, Luis actually had a pretty clean mod fight, no issues going on there. Iki, yes, this is a best of 3, but only the first game will be played right now. The second game and potentially third game, if required, will be played tomorrow at the same time as these games, which is 8 PM EDT. See what Nero does with his mod fight. That looks pretty good so far. Not a little bit of lag, but that's something we knew about. And there we go, that looks pretty clean. Meanwhile, Luis just one-shot that mini-boss with the charged strike chain, if I saw that correctly. And no issues for Nero whatsoever. Big robot for Luis. Does not seem to have any issues with that. Now there's 1 ammo left, as he should, meaning that he can actually do his thing here and then take a little zip, I was gonna say, but he actually missed the zip because he missed one of his dashes. How unfortunate. Now let's take a look what Mr. Hyaku Legger here does, Centipede. If he gets good RNG or not. Doesn't look too great. Oh, there we go. There's the tailspin. So now Luis can actually go and keep him stuck in his tailspin for maximum damage. And finishes him off with a pile of trash. I elegantly forgot the name of this weapon, but I call it the trash collector because it just collects crap from all over the screen. Nero, meanwhile, on his way to Centipede himself, so we can take a little look if he is also gonna get some tailspin glitch going. And Nero does get the zip before the boss door. And Luis, meanwhile, has moved to the snail stage. Actually, snail stage pretty fast in this specific category. Usually there's a lot of detours here to pick up all of the items. You want to go get the heart, you want to go get the capsule, and honestly both of those take quite a bit of time, whereas in this category you can really just move to where you have to be and get through. And this actually one of those things that's quite annoying. You can't always move forward without moving those blocks out of the way, so you need to bait these giant blocks of ice for you to be able to move through. And I am actually stupid because I forgot to look at Nero and what RNG he got. I do see he's out of the fight really healthy. Okay, so I'm in on the trash collector, but I didn't see if he got this one. My bad, you guys. And Luis with a beautiful cycle onto Snail actually nicely navigates his shot around there in order to get a pretty fast kill. They're waiting on his own ice blocks, and actually, to be fair, those ice blocks are pretty dangerous. You might not say so at the first look of it, but in the wrong spot, those ice blocks, well, you know what happens when your character gets squished somewhere, right? You die. So, something like this ladder here is also quite dangerous. You can actually get crushed on it if you have some bad luck and you're in a bad spot. Luis, meanwhile, on a slightly more fun part of the game, gets to ride a super fast and cool bike. Joined this local gang and got some gang signs on the bike. Joined the local gang of the Maverick Hunters. Not really sure whether he got a tattoo or something else for that. In any case, what we do know is that he gets a lot of special weapons to work with, a lot of Mavericks to kill. So there's narrow, because we can see that he also made pretty short work out of Snail. Good job on narrow for that. Now, hot and cold strategy, where you can mix between Buster and the Ice Cube shot, which I believe is named Frost shot in this game. Luis gets that pretty good. I think he missed like one little shot somewhere at the start, if I'm not mistaken, but it's all minor. It's all minor. Nero didn't really want to drop down that ladder there. I can kind of understand that. I'm a fan of dropping off ladders either. And now goes on his own bike ride. Actually, his bike ride has some really precise shots and whatnot. It's safe to say that a new runner can very easily crash the bike. So you really always have to pay attention to place your shots correctly and whatnot to make sure that you don't get stuck anywhere or lose anything. Luis, meanwhile, opens up a door by killing that giant fish and can now access, well, whatever this is, the palace submarine of Crab. So really a almost full stage plus fight behind here. Crab is not the biggest stage in the game, I believe, but still that's quite the difference. He's getting a pretty good crab fight over here. Hello? Okay. Apparently I had a little technical issue here. Excuse me. Just checked my cable. I think I got slightly unplugged or something somehow. Excuse me. Thank you for informing me in chat. So, Toxic Seahorse here. Ooh, almost a 2-cycle for Louise. Toxic Seahorse's development here that's a little bit buggy is that when you hit him out of the air with this weakness, then as soon as he hits the ground, you get a specific set of iframes triggered where, in kind of like a reverse, where he simply does not have any iframes at all. So, you know. So you can actually just mash it out and just kill him for free in 2 cycles if you're really fast, and if not that, then it's gonna be like 3 cycles. Or if you're pretty bad, well, not bad, but not as good, it's gonna be a bit more. Meanwhile, Louise is getting a little bit of a cutscene where you see Dr. Doppler talking to Bit and Bite. In short, pretty much telling them to go and kick your butt. Yep. Well, luckily, we're still playing a robot, so you're literally handling a steel butt over here, so don't mind that. Now, moving into Toxic Seahorse, Louise is going through Tunnel Rhino. Let's take a look here, actually, if Nero can 2-cycle Seahorse, but it's pretty rough. You need really good mashing for it. Nero took it a little bit slow, I think on purpose, but actually it went pretty smooth in the end. Honestly, Tunnel Rhino, meanwhile, is a pretty dangerous stage. I remember I do not have that much experience playing X3, but if anything, I do remember this was one of the first stages that I visited, and well, the stage quite hurts. File is actually Princess Peach in disguise with a shoulder cannon. But you can make him Boba Fett with a shoulder cannon as well. It's all up to your imagination. File can be whatever you want him to be. He lives in a fantasy world after all. So a little bit similar to Blizzard Buffalo, what we're gonna see here with Tunnel Rhino is that when you do not die in this stage, there is like a certain part of the attack pattern that yeah, pretty much disappears. So usually this guy has quite a few attacks. Now, however, all we're gonna see him do is charge left or right. Kind of silly looking, but yeah, that's all he's gonna be doing. Yes, Villette. Just please. Do not make me wake up to fan art. Thank you. I already had that happen a while ago with the other hype. That was rather interesting before going to work in the morning. Louise finished up on a Rhino. Nero going to the mid boss. I do believe that we did not get a bit yet. So we'll see where bit and bite show up in this race. Always kind of important to track if you want to know how the race is really going, but since we've not really seen anything yet. It doesn't matter too much. Oh. He's making sure to pay attention to the traps here. And you can actually see that he's firing drill at a couple of these enemies while he's trying to pass through. What drill actually does is it removes the hitbox from the enemies. So well, Tom attack, whatever makes you happy. So let's see, Louise, no mid boss. Nero dealing with a charging Rhino. Left to right. Nero actually on 2 HP, does not have too much left over, but gets his final hit in, no problem. The only problem he actually does have is that he's just teleporting out of the Tunnel Rhino, and Louise is already on the catfish stage, so doing his best to attack this enemy. And actually gets a pretty good fight here. Gets to execute a 4 drill strat. It's actually pretty good. A little bit awkward about the weaknesses and hitting the enemies in this game as well is that you can just do normal shots and spam them almost at a boss. You will get the normal set of iframes. However, when you hit one of the enemies in this game, with their true weakness, you're gonna deal a whole bunch of extra damage. However, you're also gonna trigger them to have a whole lot more iframes. So I do believe it's actually legit just faster most of the time to hit enemies with the buster and just mash lemons into them on recharge. And we do have Bit here as a fight for Nero. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't see him yet for Louise, which means he should be showing up here. Ooh. Someone give me back my my glass ball. Call me a witch. See in the future. It's just a Tinder match gone wrong. Well, whatever fantasy world you live in, whatever makes you happy to think about. So as you can see, Luis swapped off the weakness a bit before finishing him off. Now, mostly when you're playing this game, that has to do with one of the later stages in Dr. Doppler, where you will usually fight the God Car Machine. However, there's a chance that if you kill both Bit and Bite with their weakness, that instead of the God Car Machine, you will get the Press Disposer. And, well, to be fair, no one wants to face this Press Disposer. It's really a difficult fight, it's really annoying. Takes a long time as well. And, well, we couldn't really... my comedic genius is wasted. Here we see another little thingy with the raw fish where he has like no iframes, you can just smash damage into it. Beautiful fight. And well, because you do mention the cookie dough donut, yeah. I do have to say that Luis is one hell of a mash when he gets going. Not sure what his maximum is, to be really honest, but yeah. What I still wanted to say about that Bit and Bite fight though, so usually it's for the God Car Machine versus Press Disposer. However, in this run, since we don't go that far, for 24 Mavericks, we only go for the 8 Mavs. The reason that we actually swap away from the weakness and into the Buster is that we do not have to go and sit through a 15-second explosion. Whereas otherwise we would really just sit here and be like, yeah, that thing's exploding, great. Let me just take a little nap, come back, and still PB. Because I can. That's mid-boss down here in Tiger for Luis, and Nero should be just about at raw fish here. And we do see Luis jumping over these really big red robots. However, if he wanted to, he could fire a drill into all of them and then just say, oh, hey look, I'm just gonna be removing the hitbox from them and then jumping over even more easy. And there we have Bite for Luis. Actually quite interesting. We will see Nero catch up a little bit, but for Luis after this it's free sailing. I do not believe there are still other scrollers or anything like that. And he can simply go and say, yep, this is it. I can just move on and not worry about the random factors like these bosses anymore. Beautifully. Actually, he did swap over to Brill for a bit, so maybe he didn't see it. Or maybe it was just to show it off. Yeah, Runner Watcher. Luis is still ahead. I have not been checking the exact times. They are on the same stage. But perhaps you can take a little look here. Luis is doing Tiger. Luis already has Bit and Bite done. We'll have to see if Nero also gets Bite here, but that would be quite the thing if they got it at the same time, I guess. And with that, Luis finishes off Tiger. Tiger actually, you saw he did most of this fight with Buster because it's simply faster. However, when he gets really low, he uses spinning blades because it forces Tiger's RNG, so he doesn't go into his desperation move where he becomes invulnerable and wastes a lot of time. No, we're just gonna hit it with spinning blades. It's gonna go top left, top right, and move from corner to corner, because that's what you get when you force this RNG with that weapon. Love. You don't speak English. I recognize that to be Polish. However, I do have to disappoint you. I do not speak a dang word of Polish. And Nero, meanwhile, gets bites as well in the Tiger stage. This game's scripted. They keep getting it on the same thing. I'm not sure about that one. In any case, they both set on their merry way. Almost a Tiger for Nero here. No, it's okay if you like Mega Man, you're in a good place. It's just that I just don't really know your language. That's about it. Speed Gaming does, however, run channels in specific languages. I do believe they have German, Spanish, and French. I do not think there's a Portuguese channel, but you could always take a look around. Anyone does, a Polish channel. We can always, you can always see if there is nothing to be found that suits your needs. Ah, Crawfish, this is an amazing fight. You can take a little hop. Just wait. French is not a language. What? It's not a language. What is it? Also, I'm really messing up words. Not bad. Good to see we have no more mini bosses going. That's actually relaxing to look at. No more worries about those things. Flame stack above Louise stage. What did I just say? I legit can't remember what I said like 10 seconds ago, and I think I mixed up like 5 words in random order to say something. Whatever. Sorry guys. That's what you get when you get out of bed for commentary. Another mini boss for Louise, however, has a little spiral thing. I'm not sure what the name of this one is. You can actually throw some toxic acid at it. And then it blows up. That's kind of what you get with robots and acid. Nero, meanwhile, has arrived at Beetle, which actually makes me realize that we're completely at the end of this race already, because Beetle is the second to last boss, and Louise is actually getting really close to Hornet. And Hornet would be the final Maverick that they face in this race. Louise is actually gonna go into that fight right now. Let's take a look if he can actually beat this boss, or if Nero still has a chance. Come on, Hornet. Do it, my boy. Smack him around. Come on. Oh, well, here we go. It's 1 hour, 3 minute, and 17.81 on Louise's timer. That is great. That is a really good time. I do believe Louise would. Well, Louise had a world record when the last check tournament, but I'm gonna assume Louise still has it. Then we get the confirmation for the run over. Show us the weapon. You get parasitic bomb. That we had a GG to Louise, because out of this best of 3, first race goes to him, meaning that when they face off tomorrow, he will have a comfortable lead, knowing that he already won the first game, so he doesn't really need to stress. Tomorrow when they have their games, he will just be able to completely say, look, I'm 1 match ahead, don't worry, just lay it out. Nero now, just having to go finish the race, take his second place, at least for now. Things can still swap around heavily tomorrow. Like Nero wins the first one and then the second one still wins the tournament for himself. However, he will perhaps have to take a little look at playing a little X1 today before his next races, because he did struggle with that. He's also taking quite a lot of damage right now. No. Ah, he made it. That's it. I do believe it was about 1 hour, 5 minutes, 27 seconds. So about 2 minutes and a bit apart at the end of it. I would say really GG to both runners. They can both catch a break. Tomorrow they will have to race again at 8 PM EDT. Hopefully without a little bit of delay that we had today. But yeah, Louise will be starting tomorrow in a comfortable lead of 1-0 in the best of 3. So all he needs to do is win 1 game and he's through. Whereas Nero will have to win 2 games if he wants to take the tournament away from Louise. So we'll have to see if history rewrites itself with a victory for Louise, or if Nero finally takes it away from him and runs off with the victory. With that, I'm going to drop you guys a couple links. Even though it's not much left in the MMX tournament, there's a couple easy links to check out for the bracket and the schedule there, as well as the VODs. There's the general schedule in case you want to know what speed gaming is up to. There is also the runners, which you should probably follow. They're both pretty good players. Louise plays a lot of MMX games, as well as a couple of other things. And Nero plays a lot of games as well. Not always Mega Man, but he's definitely. I think he runs Celeste right now, as someone mentioned earlier. You want to see some varied games, go follow that guy. You'll definitely not be disappointed following these two. Also, really kind people in their chats. So, with that, I know we usually do a little bit of an interview afterwards, but I can't keep my eyes focused properly. So, I'm gonna skip on that for now, and we can have an interview with them tomorrow after the games are all done and decided. So, I think that will be fair. With that, I'm gonna go and thank you guys all for coming around to watch the first race of the MMX finals, 24 Mavericks tournament, and I hope to see all of you again tomorrow in game 2 and maybe game 3, and yeah, it will homie me will be Pro A 007. But I'm sure he will be very happy to host you all and give some good commentary full of quality. And with that, I'm gonna say goodnight to you guys and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.